Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, and Salam Alaikum. Folks, I'm back. I'm back with a bang, I should say. It's summer, and look at my ingredients. I thought, I'm a bit sick of cooking hot and spicy food for you. I'll take a break and show you some new techniques, things you can do with spices. There are dishes which are Indian, and there are dishes that are not Indian, and we can make them Indian. How about that? Right, so I'm on a journey to make some salads for you today. And 3 delicious salads. Very easy, very quick to turn around and serve people. Now, I was going to start alone, but then I have this very super healthy person, Neil Patel, who's a yogic. He's a yoga teacher. He runs his yoga school. I thought, why not start with him? Have him on the show with me. Cook along. So let's call him in. Neil? Very warm welcome.
Thank you very much. How are you?
So good of you to make time and be with us.
No problem, man.
You know, recently I have taken up yoga. So I used to go to the gym and run a lot, and then I developed a little knee trouble. So I thought, okay, I'll ease off.
Yeah.
And I started going for yoga, which is, I think, baby level in my opinion.
Okay.
It's just well-being.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Really enjoying it. I'm just a beginner, but it's fantastic. So tell me, how did your yoga journey started?
Mine, my mum was actually a yoga teacher.
Okay.
So she started teaching in 1976 in northwest London. And I had no interest in it growing up, actually. I wanted to go into more music and, hip-hop and things like that, which I still really love. But she started handing over her classes very carefully and slowly to me. And then by the age of 20, I was a fully fledged yoga teacher. And before I knew it, that became my life. So the last 25 years, I've been teaching yoga, almost just like slipstreamed into it.
And now yoga is your life.
It is, yeah.
And with yoga, are there any rules of do's and don'ts?
Well,
Some people want to live only vegetarian life, no alcohol, very clean, only water. Is that important?
No, I think the good thing about yoga is it's embracive for everybody. So you don't have to be a specific, religion or not vegetarian or, don't have alcohol, don't smoke. It lets everybody come on board, and whatever level you're at, it will find its home in you, and it will begin to slowly develop you. And if at that point you feel like, having less fats or alcohol or smoking or whatever, you can let that go yourself, but there's no pressure.
Right. I grew up in India, so there was only one channel when I was growing up, and that was called Doordarshan.
Right.
And the very boring music used to start every evening, and then country life, what you have here, we used to call it Krishi Darshan. I remember sitting and watching Krishi Darshan because there was nothing else to watch.
Yeah.
But after that, on Sundays, they used to show some yoga techniques. And that was the only yoga I knew. But now, there are so many types of yoga. Hatha yoga, karma yoga. It's just too much. It's complicated.
It's expanded, but yoga, I'd like to see yoga as a bit of an art as well. It's like there's so many different types of music. You take yoga and you mix it up, just like recipes. You've got the postures, you've got the meditations, you've got the relaxations, the philosophies, but every yoga teacher will mix it in their own way, and I think that's what makes it interesting.
So you're the kind of DJs, are you?
Yeah, we're kind of DJs in the spiritual world.
Fantastic. So the dish I'm going to cook and keep talking to you meanwhile as well is a tomato salad.
Okay.
The tomatoes were originally grown in South America.
Yeah.
And I recently had a massive trip to Mexico, and I learned a lot of things there. And I came across green tomato, which is indigenous to Mexico. And you make salsas out of that. You don't get in this part of the world. It comes out as a Chinese lantern. You have to remove the skin and then use the tomato. But in this part of the world, going back in the history, tomatoes were considered poisonous in 15th century.
Really?
People were scared of touching tomatoes. They used to think the shiny skin, actually, you can't trust
Maybe
it.
they're like little red devils. Maybe they thought they were.
Don't know. So eventually then they discovered somebody was brave enough.
Did anyone try eating them?
I'm not sure. I wasn't there in 15th century, mate.
No, you're pretty right.
So, but the leaves are still poisonous, okay? The tomato leaves are still considered to be poisonous. They don't kill you, but they can give you tummy upset. But tomatoes are great ingredients, and now you have huge varieties of tomatoes.
And they're very healthy, tomatoes.
I think so. Some people don't like the skin and the pips, but the part of the world I grew up in, we believe everything can be eaten. For heritage tomato salad, following are the ingredients you're going to need. 500 gram heritage tomatoes, 1 bulb of fennel, thinly shaped, black pepper, basil leaves or basil crest to garnish, and for dressing, 150 gram raspberries, 20 ml virgin olive oil, 1 teaspoon chaat masala, half a teaspoon coriander seeds toasted and ground, half a teaspoon cumin seeds toasted and ground, 1 small red chili finely chopped, 1 teaspoon caster sugar, 1 teaspoon lime juice, and sea salt to taste. So you keep talking to me about the health part of it, about tomatoes, because you are the boss.
Well, no,
on that front. Yeah, and I will toast some coriander seeds because I believe coriander seeds go incredibly well with tomatoes.
You know, I worry sometimes that people don't have enough raw food in their diet.
Yeah.
You know, we're very used to having wonderful cooked foods, cooked oils, cooked fats, but raw food has got real energy inside it because of the raw enzymes.
True.
And that's very good for cleaning the system, good for empowering the system, bringing life energy into the system because of the enzymes. My personal thinking on this, Atul, is that everyone should have one raw food meal a day. So
one whole meal.
One whole meal, or predominantly of raw salad, or of of fresh vegetable juice.
Yeah, a lot of people have seen that.
If you just have that once a day, you'll make sure you're getting your vitamins, your minerals, and your enzymes at least once in your diet.
Yeah.
Instead of overcooking them. Sometimes we overcook food as well.
That's true. That's so true. And sometimes just that raw food cleanses your system.
Yeah.
And if you make it part of your diet, then life is so easy. You enjoy it so much more.
Because we can get clogged up with a lot of starches, a lot of fats, a lot of carbs, a lot of proteins. But this stuff, it's like freshening, You put it in your system once a day and it freshens everything up.
Now look at that. These are called heritage tomatoes, okay?
Yeah.
And you can get everything in the UK, believe it or not. Obviously, they don't grow under the sun. We don't have that much sun, but there's a greenhouse phenomenon.
That's interesting.
It's beautiful. It's called beef tomato, and it's large, chunky. It's originally Spanish, but we get it here as well now.
Yeah.
Obviously, brought over, in my opinion. I don't think you can. I think you can grow it in the greenhouse also, in my opinion. Okay, so I got some coriander here, which I'm going to chip it into my blender.
Oh, so you're going to make a type of chutney with it?
I'm going to make a kind of dressing with that. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm going to use a little bit of cumin
seeds,
and some salt.
Is that rock salt?
It's a sea salt.
A sea salt.
Okay. And I mix the two, and I'm going to put that in a blender here.
Some people say tomato is a fruit.
Okay.
Are they actually fruit?
It is actually a fruit.
It is a fruit.
But in culinary terms, it's considered a vegetable.
Right.
Okay. So yes, you're absolutely spot on that one.
So in what respect do they think it's a fruit? Because it's not sweet.
No, botanically,
The
way it grows as a fruit. Okay, so we are going to make a dressing first before I start cutting the tomato, okay? I'm going to use the raspberry. Mm-hmm. I think this is such an interesting ingredient.
Yeah.
Because it has got sweet and sour and all those flavors going through.
Yeah. Berries are very good for you. But we find actually, I found in my working with people, a lot of people have allergies to berries. As soon as they have strawberries or berries or blackberries, they come up in sore throats and that kind of thing because they're very strong. They're very good antioxidants.
Oh, they're great antioxidants. That's why I love them. Luckily, I'm not allergic to berries. But if somebody's allergic to berries, then in that case, don't make a berry dressing. You can just go and remove the berries out of this dressing. The recipe I'm going to give you, you can just add lime or lemon instead and use the same recipe. Okay. Right, so I'll add olive oil in this. Probably the only few places where I use olive oil in my food, that is salad.
Yeah, I mean, in the Asian palate and industry of food, we cook a lot of oils. And
we do.
As you know, that there's a big difference between cooked oils and cold oils. Cold oils can be very good for you, like olive oil and linseed oil, flaxseed oil. But when you cook an oil, sometimes it can get stuck in it, so get a little rancid in the body. So it's good once a day to have your oils raw and to have your raw.
I totally agree.
That's what I think.
Totally agree. Another oil which we use a lot in Indian food is mustard oil.
Yeah.
Again, for some reason in the UK you can't get good mustard oil, in spite of us growing a lot of mustard here.
Yeah.
There is an allergen in mustard oil which irritates the throat.
Right.
Again, because of that, the health authority perhaps have taken that out of edible raw oil.
So you can't get mustard oil here?
You can, but it's mixed with rapeseed oil.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm adding a little bit of lime juice in there to get a little more tartness.
Mustard oil in the Ayurvedic system, the Indian Ayurvedic system, say it's good for heating the body. So in wintertime,
Yeah.
having mustard oil, having sesame seed oil is really good for keeping the body warm.
Yeah.
But in summertime, it might overheat the system. So in summertime, more like
Interesting.
The normal oils, that sunflower.
Interesting. I didn't know that
olive
part.
oil is better. Yeah.
Didn't know that part.
They even use it on for massage, mustard oil and sesame oil for the body if the body's got arthritis or cold conditions. To get action happening in the body, mustard is a good one. But I know we're not going to put it on the body today. I hope not.
But actually, I remember as a child growing up in India, our mother used to give us mustard oil massage in winter.
That's right. Yes, in winter, so that's the thing.
So if you see, it kind of becomes a nice, beautiful dressing.
Yeah.
And you can dilute it a bit more with lemon juice and oil if you wish to. I'll leave this aside. And we'll get the tomatoes going.
I make a lot of juices as well, Atul. Fresh vegetable juices. I've always found tomato is not something I've ever juiced. Have you ever done juices with?
I love tomato juice.
As in, not mixing it with other.
I mix it. Often I mix it with spinach, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Spinach, ginger, tomato, celery.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it more like a smoothie? Does it come out?
It comes out like a smoothie.
More smoothie.
Yeah.
So these are these famous green tomatoes.
These are green tomatoes. And another thing about tomatoes, often we'll buy tomatoes and we'll straight away go to our houses and put them in the fridge.
Right.
And we take it out of the fridge and we'll use it straight. That's where we go wrong, in my opinion.
Right.
Okay? I don't think tomatoes were meant to be kept in the fridge. You should keep it at room temperature.
All right.
That's why you get the juices going, you get the flavors coming through.
I see, yeah.
Otherwise, the cold tomato in your mouth is not being able to release the flavor.
Right, I've got it. That's a good tip to remember, actually. Was there a movie called Fried Green Tomatoes? Am I imagining that?
Fried green tomato? No, I don't know.
I think there was a bit. I'm imagining. Maybe the viewers will know.
So talk to me about your yoga classes. Where do you hold your yoga classes?
Well, the yoga classes run all over northwest London, central London as well.
Right.
We do things like yoga retreats, if you've ever been on one of those.
No, I've never been.
We actually grab 60, 70 people and we go to, for example, this summer we're going to Wales.
Ah, cool.
And we'll hire out this big mansion and then 60 acres of land. And everyone just does the yoga in the morning, 6, 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Meets in the afternoon for talks and meditations. And we carry on like that. We do this hip-hop yoga thing I was mentioning to you.
Yeah.
So that's taking yoga and adding contemporary music to it. So R&B, hip-hop and dance music. And speeding the yoga up, making it a bit more rhythmic, making it a bit more cardiovascular.
Sounds beautiful.
So you're getting the yoga benefits, but you're also getting the cardiovascular benefits as well. And within the yoga world, it's fantastic, but sometimes people don't do enough cardio. When they take up yoga, they're just doing more of the slow yoga.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to also get your heart going.
Sure.
For detoxification, get your lungs working well.
Yeah.
So we made this hip-hop yoga thing, which people really enjoy. And it helps you get young people into yoga as well. So you can make a whole interesting salad out of just tomatoes?
Just tomatoes, isn't it? And another thing that works incredibly well with tomatoes is fennel, okay?
Yeah.
So we can use some fennel shards, or fennel leaves, shards I'm calling it, but they are leaves.
Don't the Italians do bruschetta? That's all basically tomato.
Garlic and tomato work incredibly well together, okay? So that's another thing. So you can just thinly slice this. And if you have a mandolin at home, which is a slicer, you can just run it over it. I'm just going to use a little bit, not too much.
In yogic food knowledge, they say fennel is very good for digestion.
It is indeed. I totally believe that.
Whether it's fennel tea or fennel seeds or...
I love having fennel tea, so that's my way of relaxation.
They say to have it
after your meal.
That's right.
So, the normal tea, if you have English tea or normal caffeine tea, it makes you feel bloated.
Yeah.
Whereas fennel tea just calms you down.
Yeah.
It's really, really good for you. So you just put that in there, slip it in. A little more shards can go.
Nice. And it is very summery, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
It really does make you feel like summer's... Well, it's here.
Well, it's here. So
for now.
I'm just going to put a little bit of pepper on that because I forgot to add pepper. And then our dressing, we just sprinkle a little bit of salt, not too much, very little.
Yeah.
So it starts making tomato bleed, so to speak.
Tomato bleed?
So juices start coming out.
So the tomato starts salivating.
You can say that.
Of sorts. And that's the raspberry, right?
That's raspberry.
Wow, I'm salivating. That is good.
Sure, you'll be tasting it in a minute. And then I got some basil leaves here.
Okay. Basil's a very subtle flavour, isn't it?
It's a beautiful flavor. Works incredibly well with tomato. The Italians are known to exploit that quite a lot.
In yoga and Ayurveda, they talk a lot about the tulsi and the holy basil.
That's it.
As being very medicinal.
Yeah.
As well. So we have a lot of tulsi in diets and medicines.
I think I'm done. I could just do a little more shishi if you want to, but I think I'm pretty... These are just beetroot cress. They add a little more color if you wish to.
Yeah.
Because we have it, that's why we're exploiting. If you don't have it, then it's fine. Simple, straightforward salad.
Beautiful.
Hardly took any time.
No.
Just getting it together, that's all. All I did was toasted the coriander seeds. I already had the toasted cumin seeds. And then I mixed the two, added salt, blended them in a spice grinder. Into my dressing bowl, I took raspberries, the spice mix, salt, lime juice, and a little bit of olive oil. That's it. And if I just wanted to be a little more creative and bring that zing out, then get hold of a zester and a lime and just go on top.
So that's taking a bit of lime skin.
That's it, lime skin, which has got a lot of oil, lime oil.
And they're quite strong in flavour.
They're quite strong in flavour. You smell it? All the oil actually sits in the skin.
So lovely. I have to get one of these zesters.
They are fantastic.
I've never seen one of those before.
They are really, really good. But remember to keep it away from kids because they can just really spoil the skin.
Yeah.
Okay, so time for tasting, I guess.
Okay?
Okay?
Let's do it. Fantastic.
Go for it.
So I can go for any tomato I want, right?
Any tomato you want. Green, yellow, pink, red.
I'm liking I want to see this, what was the name of this tomato again?
I wouldn't know the names, but they are collectively called heritage tomatoes.
Heritage tomatoes.
And you just pick up the colors you like.
Okay.
Take a bit of dressing, basil leaf.
You know what? The raspberry
makes it very lively, isn't it?
It just brings out the tomato. Makes it it makes it a little more spicier.
Yeah.
A little bit more interesting. That's good. I'm gonna try one more.
Try the green one.
I'll take some fennel with that as well. Well, I don't know what you're having for lunch.
That's yours.
That's
yours. I'm just going to dig in to taste.
You could just have that on its own.
It is actually.
Or as a starter?
I make it in the restaurant as a starter.
Yeah. Tomato salad. Wonderful. I know one more bit and we're done.
I love it. I think it's great. It's raw food. I hardly cooked anything other than the spices. And as you were talking, going by the same philosophy, raw food is actually so essential for our well-being. And this is spot on with that.
Yeah, especially if people need to work on their immune system at all, if there's any health conditions where they need extra immunity, or we're coming up towards autumn and winter when the body needs a bit of a boost to fight off the flu bugs and the cold bugs that are coming that normally happen around September.
True.
Getting one of those into your palate during the course of a day just gives you all the vitamin C boost that you need rather than take it from a capsule. I think what people need to do is just to make a bit of time, right?
It hardly took any time, in my opinion.
Also be creative and instead of just getting...
I think, just looking at what you like and also disassociating yourself from thinking oily and fried food and heavy gluten food. Walking away from it and thinking, actually, nature has got huge flavors to provide.
Yeah.
Why not use them to our advantage and make things work? There will be things when you put them together, you think, oh, that's a horrible combination. But you've learned your lesson. You'll move on and you will try out something else, and that combination you will remember forever because it's beautiful. But then that horrible experience you had, it teaches you something, that those two things don't work together. So don't get scared. Keep trying. Keep experimenting. And that leads you towards the new path.
I actually enjoy the cooking process. I find it creative and interesting. I think if you put your mind into it and see it as an art, you can make these salads really easy. And they're so beautiful. They're so colourful.
Glad you like it. Neil, what else you can tell us about yoga?
About yoga? For me, yoga is one of the most important things that people can do in their lives because it's not just a one-dimensional exercise. Like if you get on a treadmill, you'll run, you'll use your legs and you have the same movement, same benefits, detoxification. But when you're doing yoga, you're turning your body upside down, so you're getting the circulation, you're stretching and moving your spine around, so you're helping your nervous system.
Yep.
You're pumping your carbs, so the lymphatic system's pumping around the body. And it's such a multi-dimensional exercise, in the exercise form of it, that for the body, digestive system, everything is helped. So it's an exercise that does all the systems of the body. And then, of course, the other thing which is great with yoga is the peaceful side of it. You know, in our lives now, there's so much stress.
So much calmness in you.
Yeah, a bit of meditation every day, a bit of pranayama, which is the breathing exercises, calms the system down. And they say that, in yoga, they say that you don't have a certain number of years to live, but you have a certain number of breaths to breathe.
That's true.
So the slower that you breathe and the more calmly you live your life, the longer you live. So coupled with a healthy diet, I think it's the perfect combination. Yoga and exercise.
Totally agree. But I wonder what whiskey drinkers think about that.
Well, ask them. They can come to the class. We're actually doing, the United Nations have just got a charter gone through. I don't know if you know about it. Prime Minister Modi has got a charter through where 177 countries have signed for a United Nations International Yoga Day.
Oh, really?
So throughout the world on June the 21st, everyone will be celebrating yoga.
Yoga Day.
Yoga Day. It's a first World Yoga Day.
That's amazing.
We're doing something at Alexandra Palace for that, where people will get together and just celebrate. So, you know, it's really gone to another level.
Actually, there's a big Yoga Day, I think around 21st of June, only in Madrid.
Yeah,
I was meeting the ambassador, the British ambassador, and he mentioned that. So I was like, wow, that's fantastic. Well, Neil.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
I hope you will come back soon and give us some yoga tips. And maybe we can send somebody to your studio and see how you can actually give us some yoga tips.
For sure.
Which we'll be able to include in our show later.
I'd love to. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure having you. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.